Shane Dawson released the first episode of his new series with Jeffree start yesterday, and even though I'm sick, we have to talk about it.
Hey Shelby Bells, it's Shelby. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for tuning in for another video. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name's Shelby. I'm the crazy cat lady of the drama community here on YouTube. I bring you the tea 7 days a week with the help of my investigative research team, Mr. and Miss Kitty. Miss Kitty is the brains around here and Mr. Kitty is the face, which sometimes means that he brings us a little bit of clickbait. It's easy to forgive him because he's so cute. So if you like cats and you like tea, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. Don't forget that all Shelby Bells ring the bell.
Okay, let's get into this drama. So first off, before we get into that, if you want to skip forward, I'll put a timestamp for you if you don't give a fuck about any of the rest of this stuff, because I'm going to talk about how, like, what's going on in my life, and I made a video yesterday about how I'm sick and stuff. I'm just gonna kind of update you guys on that because I know I'm gonna get comments about, Shelby, you're sick, like you shouldn't be filming, I thought you were sick, da da da. I am sick, I'm super sick. I don't think I'll be filming any more videos aside from this one this week, but I literally just could not resist making a video about this. I have a little bit more energy today. The main thing that was inhibiting me from filming and getting any work done, well, first I have a really nasty cough, and so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to edit that out a lot in this video. So there's probably going to be a fair amount of editing I'll have to do because I just am continuously coughing. But I had a lot of brain fog and I just couldn't think straight. And here's the cough. Oh, hey, Mr. Kitty. Mr. Kitty, so you caught up on the Shane video? Because here's the thing, Mr. Kitty, you weren't awake when I was watching it, so you must have watched it later on, right? Okay, good. And what did you think of the Shane video, Mr. Kitty? Okay, Mr. Kid, so I think you're onto something because I was thinking the same thing. Okay, so first of all, let me finish telling them what's going on. So anyway, so I have a little bit more energy today. There's not as much brain fog. I took some medicine. I found my Mucinex, which I think is really helping me. So I took Mucinex. I couldn't find it yesterday, so I didn't have the energy to find it, and it wasn't like in my medicine drawer. It was like on my bedside table, which is like, I should have just noticed it, but I didn't. So I have my Mucinex and my Dayquil going, and I'm taking my throat cough drops and stuff. So I've actually been able to get a little bit of stuff done today. You guys know I can't talk. Some of you guys know that I'm moving. I've mentioned it in a couple of videos. I'm moving in 19 days. Mr. Kitty, stop shaking the tripod, baby. Don't do that. So I have to pack, you know, and so I was able to get some things packed. I started packing up my living room decor and stuff today because, you know, while it's cute and nice to look at, I don't need it and I don't ever touch it. So it's time to pack it up in boxes and get it going. So that's why I've been doing that today. And but there's this whole Shane thing has just been on my brain, and then every time I turn on my cell phone and go to Twitter, it's like I'm looking at the Twitter and I'm looking at everybody commenting on the Shane thing, and I have so many thoughts on it too. So despite the fact that I'm sick and I probably won't be filming any more videos this week, which will still mean that I get 4 videos out, which is what I used to upload before I started uploading every single day. That was my minimum. It's still like I like to upload every day now, so I'm a little bit like disappointed in myself, but hey, you know, shit happens and I'm sick, so I have to take care of myself. Miss, thank you so much, baby girl. So Miss fell asleep during the Shane documentary, which I was disappointed in her about. If you saw my Instagram,
Miss, wake up. We have to watch the Shane thing for the drama. Miss, you're supposed to be taking notes.
I was like, Miss, you have to wake up. We have to watch the Shane thing. Like, what are you doing? And she was asleep. And I was like, Miss, you should be taking notes. And she was sleeping. So I was a little annoyed with her with that. But I have a lot of thoughts on this. And the first thought was, and I don't know if this was because I watched it when I was sick and I had major brain fog and like I just wasn't thinking right, but I was just confused for like the first part of the series. I was just confused at like the jumping around and doing all this stuff, and I really thought that, like, you know, when I was watching it, and granted, please keep in mind that I'm sick, okay, and I was not thinking straight. I was thinking that, you know, the jumping around, at first I wasn't understanding the fact that this a supposed palette that Shane wants to just show us randomly now in 2022, Mr. Kitty, you're doing the toe thing, stop it, that this palette that Shane randomly wants to show us almost 3 years later, after the launch of the conspiracy palette, the second palette they started working on. I was so confused as the fact that footage was from 2020. I didn't get it. I thought that it was something they were currently working on, and my thought was, this is so predictable, and like we all knew this was coming. And you know, it seems like, you know, now that I've been looking and I watched the rest of the video, that was stuff that was recorded in 2020. It was supposed to be the second palette that they launched, and then all the drama happened. Now, I don't know, you guys, the whole thing seems like, to me, Shane is insisting in this first episode that he just wants to show the people what it would have been. There's no intent to launch this palette. He didn't want, and in retrospect, he's happy they didn't launch the second palette. All of these things. But in my opinion, this whole thing is just going to be a twisted attempt to sell another palette. They're gonna say at the end of this documentary series, what they're gonna say is Jeffree and Shane are gonna be like, oh, well, you guys, you know, you received the palette so well. I know that you have so much interest in it. I see that you guys like it so much. I love it too. We're gonna launch it for you, but it's gonna be limited edition and only this many copies and all this stuff. And I think that's super I don't know. For me, I think that's where this is going, and for me that's so transparent. And for him to disguise it as being like just this like fun documentary that he didn't really know where it was gonna go, and then I think I'll just talk about myself and like my journey and stuff, but oh, here's Jeffree, and by the way, here's all this secret makeup we've been working on, and we didn't never launch, but we wanted to launch it, all this stuff. Like, for me, it's just transparent, and it's disappointing. It's like, I don't know who's falling for that, but I'm not. And even in my loopy brain state, I thought, wow, this is really fake. Especially the part, and here's the thing, I like Ryland's mom a lot. I think she is great. I think she's swell, okay? She seems like a lovely person. When Shane asked her like a question, like, what are some hard-hitting questions you have for me? Like, what are some things that you really want me to dive into? And when she dived into the whole thing about the conspiracy palette being a cash grab and all this stuff.
So have you thought of your question?
Okay, so I do have a question.
Okay.
Do you really love my son?
Yes.
I'm kidding!
Oh my god, that scared me.
No, I know you do. Okay, there's another situation that I want to ask you about.
Oh, okay.
Let me think, though. Well, this is where I get in trouble because I like to speak up and I can't say it online because I had to quit talking online because I would like things when I, you know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I stopped online. So during the Jeffree series,
Okay.
do you want to talk about that?
What about it?
Okay, so I always feel like people acted like you did this big money grab, and you won't address it, plus you haven't talked about it with us.
No.
And I don't feel like it was a money grab, but you never address it. What I felt like happened is you started that documentary with Jeffree Star, and you went into it, and then you really got interested in what he was doing, and then it became a business opportunity and kind of something like you get really excited when there's something new and you want to make it something of your own and you want to see what will happen, and you know what I mean? But for people to say it was a money grab has just always made me so mad, because to me it was more about, gosh, let's see really what we can do here together and what will happen if we do this. It wasn't like, oh yeah, let's get rich off of this whole makeup thing. That wasn't it at all. It was more excitement, and it was excitement for the whole family. Like the day you guys went to the Mall of America, I just sat here and watched every little newsfeed I could find on it. It was exciting. It was exciting for all of us. And then people just acted, oh, not everyone, but a lot of people acted like it was just a planned money grab.
So I don't address it because I do get upset about it and I just don't want to, like, but here's what I'll say. Last year, making that first palette was so fun, so creative, and making something with Jeffree and seeing it from start to finish was like something I had never thought I'd be able to do or experience. It was literally like giving birth to a child. It was that emotionally just overwhelming. So I learned a lot about myself and about the opinions of other people and what that means and how I take it in and all this stuff. Because if I wanted to do a money grab, like, I've never done anything.
You could do so many ways to do that, yeah.
Yes, so many easier ways. Like, I wouldn't have done a year-long documentary about it. I wouldn't have spent my whole life editing it. I wouldn't have almost lost my relationship over it because I was editing 24 hours a day and not giving him any attention. I wouldn't have, literally, like, that was the hardest, most intense year. And it's like for a palette, but really it was for the series. Like, that was my passion, was that series and making this series about this palette. The palette was just like a physical product at the end of it that I could keep forever, and it was so fucking cool. Guys, look, in the lab, they now have our palette on display. Oh my god, that's so cute. Wow, oh my god. Okay. I also think I overhyped in the series the money element because it was like fascinating, like, oh, money, money, money. Because yeah, the truth of it is I did not make anywhere near what people think I made, which I think that's another thing. People thought I made like $10 or $20 million on it. I did not. You know, and financial stuff aside, like being very honest, the first palette did very well, but the cost of goods is crazy. So like, yes, the palette made like 30 million whatever dollars, but then the cost of goods was literally $20 million. So it's like, okay, take that away. And then after that, okay, you know, it was all the people involved in the company. Then after that, like my cut, my 25% or whatever it was after so many cuts. And then after that, and then I gave my coworker at the time 25% of what I made from it. So after all was said and done with taxes and everything, yeah, it was a great amount of money that I'm so blessed and proud of and so grateful for, because it helped with getting this house in Colorado. And, you know, but like, was it like I can retire now money? No. It wasn't like I made $20 million, I'm gonna retire. Like, it wasn't that. But thank God, because if somebody handed me enough money to where I could like retire and stuff, I don't know what I would do. It would, And I wanted to be honest about the numbers because I didn't talk about that in the finale because I didn't know yet. Listen, I would be honest. If it was something that I regretted and I was like, oh, yeah, I just did that for the money and whatever, I would talk about it because I think that's interesting, like reflecting on something. But yeah, that was not about the money at all. And if I wanted to do a money grab, I wouldn't have put my whole soul and life into it. I wouldn't have spent so much time and money buying makeup, learning makeup, doing the series.
Oh, we spent hours practicing makeup and having fun with makeup, and for people to say you really didn't care about it, I wanted to speak up, and you're just like, no, we're not going to address it.
No. I'm so proud of that series and that palette. I look at it every day. I'm so grateful for it. Like, it was such a life-changing, like, that was also a moment where I remember when we went to the Mall of America and I told Jeffree, I was like, I'm so present right now because I'm always thinking about like, what's going to happen? What's the future? What's this? What's that? And I knew, I was like, I need to take this in and be present because like, I'm going to think about this when I'm on my deathbed. Like, this is such a beautiful, cool moment of like, we worked so hard for a year and a half and we're here and people are holding it. And it's the end of the series, which I'm so proud of. It's like, it was such a fucking dream moment. And yeah, I still think about it all the time, and it still makes me cry.
I'm glad. I know for some reason it's kind of off topic. We don't talk about it. So you're saying anything is on the table today. So.
Well, thank you. Wow, that got deep.
Well, I'm sorry. I thought you asked me to think of.
It just screamed, planned, fake. I'm trying to let people know that the conspiracy palette, I'm trying to get them to believe the conspiracy palette wasn't a cash grab, wasn't all these things, because I'm about to launch a new palette, and that one is a cash grab too, and it's going to be more transparently a cash grab since I haven't played with makeup in 2 years and just started picking up makeup palettes again and putting it on camera in the past 6 weeks. But I need people to think that I really like makeup, and so maybe she can say some stuff to make people think I really like makeup. It's coming from a mom. It's not coming from me. Maybe I can get people to think it's really that way, right? And I don't know. For me, it was just so fake. And then when Ryland's dad started talking about being canceled and all of that.
Okay, so Bruce, do you have any deep, personal, intense questions? Nothing is off limits.
You know, it's kind of like when you went through all that cancel stuff and how you dealt with that. And I know you got into a dark place at that point. But now you seem so happy.
Yeah.
I'm just proud of you for, you were in a horrible place. California is just a nasty place. I'm sorry, Chris. But look at you now. You're thriving. You're happy. I love that.
Oh my God, you guys are good at this. Oh my God. Well, I mean, you guys are such a huge part of that. I mean, you know, I've always had family, but having so much family, it was so nice. So thank you for not throwing me away.
Why did we throw you away? We're behind you. We got your back, man.
Oh, I got your guys' backs.
You got Shane's back.
Yeah, you didn't throw me away.
I didn't.
You're the best, Shane. Okay. You were the best.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh my God. This is like too nice. Somebody needs to say something mean. Chris? Not too mean.
It just was very see-through to me. It was very, Shane, I think, in the past has done a good job of at least convincing people to think what is going on is really what's going on, or what his agenda he's trying to push is actually the truth. And in my opinion, in this one, he did a horrible job of that. In my opinion, this is really so clearly just an avenue for him to launch another palette with Jeffree Star. And he's trying to do it in this, like, you know, covert way, which makes it seem as if like he is just innocent and over the drama. And I think this is my conspiracy theory. Conspiracy, you get it? I think that he's going to try, excuse me, this video is going to be so, you know, I think that he's going to try and make it seem this entire time like this whole thing was just meeting up with Jeffree, talking about the second palette, talking about what happened, talking about the conspiracy, all of that stuff. And then, like I said earlier in this video, that when this is all said and done, I think that he's gonna like come out, you know, after the final episode airs and be like, oh my God, you know, the feedback of the palette was so good. I can't believe you guys loved it so much. I never expected such great feedback on this, and blah, 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 blah. We're gonna launch the palette. It comes out December something, da, da, da. And that would mean that it comes out in time for Christmas, which is the perfect time to launch a palette, the perfect time to start selling stuff. The holiday season is here. That's the best time to sell stuff. And the truth of the matter is that you have to realize is that when they end up doing this, because I truly do think they're going to end up doing this, they're going to end up launching this palette. I really, truly do. When they end up launching this palette, you don't for a second start to believe that this whole thing was not planned out the entire time, because that's a thing, right? And I feel like if they, in my opinion, I would have more respect for it if they said the whole time, hey, you know what? This is the second palette we started creating a couple years ago, and we put it on the back burner because of everything that happened, but now we're ready to launch it for you guys. Here's the story of how that's gonna happen. I would much more respect that than have it be like this whole thing where it's like, I don't really know where this series is going, but oh my God, look at this palette that we almost made, and oh my God, hey Jeffree, oh my God, should we launch it? We should launch it. And I feel like he's gonna try and like get us to believe it's that, and like just some fluke like coinky dink or whatever, and it's just not. It's just simply not, in my opinion. I don't think so. And so when, because I truly do believe they are going to end up launching this palette, when they do launch this, I think it's very important for us to remember, and if you want to buy the palette, buy the palette. That's not what I'm saying. Quite honestly, the color stories that I'm seeing in there, I love that row of the warm tones. It seems like it would be a cute palette. I don't need another makeup palette again ever in my life. I don't think I need another eyeshadow palette for as long as I live. I'm just truly honestly saying that. I have so much eyeshadow. I have right now, I'm packing up my beauty room, and I have 2 big boxes already full of just eyeshadow palettes, and I still have more to pack. So I don't ever need another eyeshadow palette in my entire life. However, I still might even buy this eyeshadow palette because it is with these 2 big creators, and I like to have collectible pieces like that. Now, the thing is, I think it's important to remember, and I think I've said that a billion times, I haven't gotten to my point yet, I'm sorry, I'm sick. is that we have to remember that this was planned the whole time. If they say it takes them 2 years, a year, whatever, to build this palette, like the conspiracy palette, you know, all these creators say it takes years and years and years of production to put these things together. You cannot let yourself for a second believe that when they do launch this palette that they haven't been planning it for at least a year. Because the fact of the matter is, it takes time to formulate these shadows. It takes time to get them exactly right. Now, when they were doing that little scene in the lab and they just like blended the shadow and then she pressed it and then she spotted it, oh my God, it's perfect. You can't for a second believe it happened on the first try like that. It definitely took a lot of different attempts to find the right blend of colors and all these things. And then also, you have to make sure the formula looks good, it's not patchy and all these things, especially with some of the more challenging colors that I've seen in that palette that they're gonna put in, if they, you know, if they choose them, the yellows and the reds and stuff. Those are difficult colors to kind of get right. And so you can't make me believe that it was done on a whim like this and it just is gonna be thrown together like that. And if it is just thrown together like that, it'll be really crappy quality and it won't be what Jeffree Star Cosmetics is known for, which honestly, love them or hate them, I love Jeffree Star Cosmetics products. I think they're good. They're good quality, and that's why I continue to wear them. So don't be fooled, and don't get caught up in the hype and believe the facade that Shane is trying to put on for you. If you want to buy the palette, if it's interesting to you, whatever, I think go ahead, by all means, go ahead and buy it. That's not what I'm trying to say. I would never tell somebody not to buy something they don't want. And you know what, honestly, like I said, I don't think the palette in general is the worst idea in the world. I think that if they want to do it, then do it. But the whole facade around making it seem like it's just this unplanned like thing, like, I don't know. And they haven't even said they're going to eventually launch the palette yet. But I just kind of feel it in my bones that that's what's going to happen. And I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in that. It's a cash grab. It's a cash grab. And if you're gonna do a cash grab, you should just embrace the cash grab. You really should. You're an influencer, a YouTuber. It wouldn't be out of this world for a YouTuber to do a cash grab. People do it all the time. So I think just embrace it. The people that want to buy it will buy it. You don't have to come up with this crazy story to make it seem like, you know, things are something that they aren't. And that's just my opinion on it. Now, by the way, you guys, these are not hickeys on my neck. I know some of you might be looking at my neck like, oh girl, you got hickeys, hello. No, these are from this necklace that I wore on Halloween, my dominatrix look. These are from that. The necklace literally was cutting into my neck, and it was like not too tight. It was just the way that the leather was. It would just ended up cutting into my neck over time. I wore it from like literally 8:30 in the morning to like 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning. So I wore it for a long time and ended up cutting into my neck. But anyway, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of the first episode of Shane's documentary. I'm not impressed with this one. I just gotta say it. I'm not impressed with this one. I think it's really transparent, and I think there's other ways of going about doing what I think he's trying to do with this series. I think there's other ways to go about it that are more respectful, in my opinion. That's just what I think. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. I gotta go. You hear this? I gotta go. If you liked today's video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel down below. Don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified of all my future videos when they do post. Remember that all Shelby bells ring the bell. And yeah, guys, if you enjoyed today's YouTube video, YouTube should be suggesting a couple more down here for you to choose from. So I'd love it if you did that. And aside from that, I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.